32. Dear Kiddo, take my hand into darkness, and also through a never-ending anti-American rant on I-25. Adventures with Mom. Driving to Denver with Mom was never just a drive. It was an endurance test, a psychological experiment, and a road trip through the darkest recesses of ideological hypocrisy. This particular journey, however, was the beginning of my awakening, my first real, undeniable glimpse into the true depths of Mom's ideological derangement. Now, don't get me wrong. I'd seen the signs before. Little storm clouds of hypocrisy on the horizon. Mom had always been loudly, aggressively, performatively liberal, in the kind of way that only a privileged woman from Dallas who grew up in wealth and had every opportunity could be. But this trip was when it all clicked. This was the drive where I finally understood Mom's worldview was not just ideological, it was theatrical. The great liberal screed of I-25. Now, to set the scene, here we were, a young couple, relax, not like that, driving a European car on America's beautifully maintained highways to a luxury spa in Colorado, the pinnacle of bourgeois comfort. And what was Mom doing? Complaining about America, nonstop. Like not one moment of enjoyment, gratitude, or basic self-awareness. Just an unrelenting monologue on how terrible and oppressive America is. Meanwhile, her European luxury car purred beneath us, ferrying us effortlessly to a 5-star resort, where she would be wrapped in imported silk robes and have her feet massaged by someone making minimum wage, all while she screamed about capitalism. The hypocrisy Olympics. Now, I'm not super conservative. I'm not some right-wing fanatic clutching a Bible and an AR-15, screaming about tax cuts. But I do believe in reality. I do believe in acknowledging when you're winning. I do believe in taking a second to look around and think, wow, maybe this isn't the worst place to exist after all. But Mom? No. Mom was committed to theater. She would not, could not, allow herself to admit that she had a great life. Because to do so would be to admit that her entire worldview was built on nonsense. And that was unacceptable. The Nietzschean nightmare. As we drove, her ranting reached an operatic crescendo. It was at this moment that I realized Mom was a walking embodiment of Nietzsche's articulation of resentment. She was the ultimate bourgeois striver, someone who had been handed every advantage and yet was consumed by hysterical, histrionic discontent. Her ideology wasn't about justice or truth or moral clarity. It was about self-righteous performance. It was privileged whining disguised as activism. It was a wealthy woman screaming about oppression while en route to a massage. And I was trapped in the passenger seat, forced to endure every painful second of it. The cognitive dissonance of Mom's America. To Mom, America was a dystopian hellscape. To Mom, we were somehow suffering. We, us, the two privileged idiots who were gliding toward a luxury vacation with zero real problems outside of the ones she was actively inventing in real time. Meanwhile, I had friends working 2 jobs to survive. Meanwhile, I had met people who had actually suffered, actually struggled, actually had reasons to be angry. Meanwhile, there we were, sipping lattes, reclining in leather seats, coasting toward a world of overpriced spa treatments, while Mom monologued like she had just escaped a war zone. The final realization, I can't fix this. Now, in the past, I would argue. I would try to point out the hypocrisy. I would try to insert logic, reason, basic common sense. But on this trip, I realized there was no point. Because Mom didn't actually want to solve anything. She didn't want justice or progress or meaningful change. She wanted to perform. She wanted to feel superior. She wanted to complain about privilege while being actively drenched in privilege. And I was done. So I stopped arguing. I sat back. I let her scream into the void. And I thought, this is who she is. Not an activist. Not a deep thinker. Not a champion of the people. Just a bored rich woman with too much time and not enough self-awareness. The lesson, know when to stop listening. So, dear Kiddo, if you ever find yourself trapped in a moving vehicle while someone rants hypocritically for hours, let me give you this one piece of advice. Let them tire themselves out. They will. Eventually. And in the meantime, turn up the music. Enjoy the ride. Because no matter what they say, you're still headed to the spa.